What's going on, college football fans? Listen, we here to talk Colorado Buffaloes today, man. It is Coach Al on the Fan Addict Sports Network. We got a special guest for y'all today, man. It's David Talks Buff today, man. We talking all Buffs all the time. Listen, I put the link in the chat, man. If you want to call in, just hit the link, man. Once you're in, turn your camera off, and you can just be all voice, man. We want to hear it all, man. We want to hear the good, bad, the ugly, what you like, what you don't like, man. And we'll try to answer your questions as best we can, man. But like I said, we're here to talk Buffs. Let's do this.
No, I got you on this one, Coach. It ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The fanatic. But we keep it 100, keep it real. That's the only way we know how to be. Talking that sports talk. You know what I'm saying? Straight out of South Carolina. Upstate, A64. Yeah. The FANATTIC. The fanatic where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call.
That's right, man. We're here to talk Colorado Buffs, man. You're 4-2. Vegas had you at 3.5 wins for the over-under for the season win total, man. Already crushing that. I know, you dropped 2 games, but one of those games actually probably should have won. But let's go ahead and bring in our guest, man. It's David from David Talks Buffs. What's going on, David?
Coach, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for having me. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, man, I'm doing pretty good, man. It's my first live call-in show. You and I have done some stuff together, but we haven't actually invited the fans to call in. We'll see if they actually want to call in and voice their opinions with us, man. But I'm just here to talk Buffs, man. First, before we get started with anybody that wants to call in, man, refresh me on the game last night. You know I'm down here in the Southeast. YouTube TV don't like Pac-12 Network down here in the Southeast, so I couldn't even watch the game last night, man.
Oh man, well yeah, you missed an entertaining one. It wasn't the cleanest game of football, which is what we're kind of used to right now, being Buffs fans. But it was an entertaining game nonetheless. And similar theme to a lot of these games, which is where there have been a lot of back-breaking plays and there have been a lot of game-breaking plays, on both sides of the ball for the Buffs. And I mean, with this past week, we just made a few more good plays than bad plays, man. Got that win. Our first road conference win since the 2020 season. So that feels great. It's been a while since we've won on the road, but not the happiest, Coach Prime, after the game. But nonetheless, I'll never apologize for a victory. No way.
Oh, that's right, man. All we count is dubs around here, W's and L's, man. As long as you get more W's than you get L's, man. So shout out to Trey Ivory for getting in the comments, man. Say close to going bowling, David. That's right. I think that is on the horizon. You got Stanford Friday night. I think it's this Friday night.
Yep.
And hey, not to jump ahead the cart before the horse, but I think you guys will take Stanford down. I think you got too much offense for Stanford. Stanford's still trying to figure out if they want to still play football or not, just to be honest with you. Shout out to the Black Pope, man. He said, let's go Buffs, man. Y'all listen, like I said, if y'all got some stuff y'all want to say, man, you don't have to be on camera. Just hit the link that we got in the comments there, man. You turn your camera off once you're in and we can talk about it, man. So shout out to the Colorado Buffs for getting that road win last night. Arizona State, hey, Kenny Dillaham's a good coach. So it's a big win, for the Buffaloes, man. I mean, it's not like you're the only people struggling, you know what I'm saying? Like USC, Arizona gave USC all they wanted, and USC was playing at home. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. In that game, man, I'm glad I stayed up late to watch it. It was entertaining. I'll say, man, Caleb Williams, his team is trying to do everything in their power, to lose these games. This man is not only beating the opponent, but he's beating his own team as well, putting them on his back. If somehow they're able to run the table and win the national championship, I mean, you got to say Caleb Williams is the greatest college football player of all time, because the way this team seems to mismanage and, be close to fumbling the bag at the end of every game, it is just it's a shame. It's a shame that there isn't a better team and it's not better coached around a talent like that.
What's crazy is when I did the preview for when you guys played SC, man, I thought that you had a shot to win because honestly, I feel like both teams are kind of made the same. You got a dynamic dynamic quarterback. You got playmakers on the outside. I would say that, Marshawn Lloyd at running back is better than the Colorado running backs, but, he doesn't get used. So, I mean, what do we know? You know what I'm saying? But as far as the offense, it's like you guys can score on anybody. Sometimes you have problems stopping people. And it looks like, I know USC fans don't want to hear that, but it looks the same. Colorado has an amazing offense. And then, defensive wise, they show up sometimes they don't. So, but we're gonna get into all of that, man. I mean, 4-2. How you feeling, David? You made a little scratch on this 4-2.
Man, it feels great. I won a little over $500 with the TCU thing. Pulling off that upset. Won a little over 500 with this. With us finally hitting the over on 3.5. So, man, it's been great. I've lost other money along the way, as we have discussed, but nonetheless, man, this has been so fun and perspective. I think the goalpost kind of changes with this team week to week, when they see the spurts of greatness that they show, or, then there's just haters that seeing how our team handles themselves. They don't like that. So then they're going to criticize and, try and rain on our parade, man. But where this program was at a year ago at this time, we had just fired Carl Durrell. And, we're wondering, are we Mountain West bound? Coach Prime right now, 4-2, A+, exceeding, so many people's expectations, from the preseason. And, it's been a work in progress. We've seen that, the consistency is not there. The errors are there. The special teams, good Lord, is turning my hair gray at an exponential pace. But, it is what it is. I've just been glad we've been able to see not only very entertaining football minus the Oregon game, but we've been able to see some players really shine. Shedeur has just been an absolute pleasure to watch each week. And this is something that Colorado fans, like, we haven't experienced, like, this type of, elite quarterback play, for like people my age or younger in our lifetime. He's been phenomenal, and we don't win any of these games without him. And hopefully through this next recruiting class, after having some results, we can, hopefully we won't have any more big time glaring holes going into 2024. But this is about building or laying the foundation. And I think all things considered, man, you got to be thrilled. You got to be happy.
That's right, man. Shout out to some of the people getting in, man. Sunshine, shout out Sunshine. She say hello, fella. They say hello, fellas. They're watching. Got a TV and a laptop going. That's what I'm talking about. That's how you support the content creators. We definitely appreciate it. Optimistic One says, "What's good, panel and chat?" We got Howard has to be in there. We're going to get their comment when we start breaking down the offense, man. Before we get started in the breakdown, just want to let y'all know, man, shout out to SeatGeek, man, for sponsoring the Fan Addict, man. I'm a brand ambassador. So listen, SeatGeek is a ticket app that, takes the confusion out of buying tickets, man. And listen, every ticket is scored 0 to 10. So you know if you're getting a bad ticket or a good ticket. And the viewers that use my code right below me, Fan Addict Sports, you get $20 off your first ticket purchase. So when you want to go to the next home game at Colorado
this Friday,
go to SeatGeek. Go to SeatGeek. Use Fan Addict Sports. Get $20 off. So shout out to some of my guys coming in, man. Mars Jam, what's going on? My guy B Shaw, man. Let's go ahead and jump into the breakdown, man. Let's talk defense first, because offense, we can spend a year on offense, but defense overall, David, give me like a overall grade, and we'll break down each level, the D line, the LBs, and the DBs. So give me an overall grade on the defense. Now, take into consideration the 2 losses on the offenses that you actually faced, though.
Yeah. Oh, man. I guess with the grades right now, it has to be probably a D or a C right now for the most part with this defense.
Optimistic says C.
Yeah. It's been pretty inconsistent. It's like if we're strong in one area, then we're kind of weak in the others. Like yesterday against Arizona State, we did a phenomenal job at stopping the run. This is the first time all year that we've done a great job at stopping the run, but we just got killed like at the end of half. Like those drives, we're just letting our feet, our foot off the gas. they're driving down there at the end of every half and getting a score. And why this defense isn't graded lower is because we have been able to generate a ton of takeaways. This past game was the first game all year, I believe, in which we didn't get a takeaway. And it's been a work in progress. It hasn't been something that we've been able to rely on consistently, for that's been the offense. We've had to rely on Shedeur specifically to make up for kind of a multitude of errors. But I think, there's enough talent in the secondary with Travis Hunter coming back that I think that we will see after our bye week, some improvement there. But it's kind of been a hit or miss. If we're doing well on coverage, we're not wrapping up. If we're getting interceptions, we're not stopping the run. It's kind of been one of those things where we're waiting to see our unit put it all together. We've seen spurts of it, but it just hasn't been very consistent. And you can tell we must be last or close to last in scoring defense, I think, right now in FBS. And,
Listen, man, I think sometimes you guys, like you say, start kind of hot, but some of that's going to change over time with Coach Prime, depending on how long, he's there 5-10 years, whatever he is, because I think some competitive depth is what you're missing. I noticed like sometimes it's like, behind, I want to say Mitchell and Levante Bentley and then another guy up front. I want to say his number is 90 or something, but like it's like almost like it drops off a little bit. So when they get tired, you know what I'm saying? It's like that competitive depth. You want to start building that. So overall, I'm with you. Yeah. I'm with somebody said it earlier, optimistic, and life with Rika and Tasia said C. I'm C minus. I don't know if I give them a D like it is the first year all playing together. So, but we'll talk about each of it. And I mentioned the D line. The D line, I felt like at the beginning, the first couple of games was just kind of okay. I thought they came on, especially like not the Oregon game, but the USC game. I felt like they actually played, pretty decent. But again, that competitive depth, man. Like if there is one standout on the D line, who you say that is?
Oh man, probably the guy that I noticed the most on the D line has been Jordan Dominic, our transfer edge from Arkansas. I think he's had a pretty good year. But yeah, like you said, it's we don't have a deep rotation up front. In terms of our interior guys that get down, on the line, hand in the ground. We have about a 6-man rotation for that, and there definitely is a difference when we're going into, replacements coming up, picking up the slack. I will say over the last couple games, like you pointed out, against USC and Arizona State, our defensive line did a much better job at getting pressure in the second half. Mm-hmm. I think you got to credit Coach Mo with our conditioning, coming over here from Georgia, to help out Coach Prime a little while back. He's a good guy. He's been so helpful because we got no pressure on Arizona State or USC in the first half of our games, but you've seen us come along, and our defensive line was menacing in that fourth quarter. I think we registered 4 or 5 sacks in the game yesterday, and we were getting pressure on Caleb Williams in the second half. The story is about putting it all together consistently, from that opening kickoff. But, if it's going to be a work in progress, of course, I'd much rather play better in the second half than the first half. And it's nice to at least see us, for the most part, finish these close games. We got close with USC, but, just a few too many errors, in that first half specifically that kind of came back to bite us.
Yeah, how it has to be says the Buffs bench D line is better than the starters. How it has to be, why do you think that is? It's got to be something in practice, that they're not doing, whereas they can come out in the game and do it, but at practice they don't, because, hey, Prime's a winner. He's not going to keep the guys on the, you know what I'm saying? He's not going to keep the best guys on the bench. So it's something they're not doing in practice that when they get in the game, they're doing it. They're just not doing it in practice. And as a coach, it is kind of hard to put a guy in that you've watched 4 days, 5 days in a row where he's not as good as the guy that plays in front of him. So if you had to give the D line a grade before we move to the linebackers, what would you give them?
Man, I guess, I just give them an average rating right now. I guess I would just go with the C because, again, we've seen them in spurts do well rushing the passer. We've seen them do well in spurts stopping the run.
Yeah.
But we just haven't seen that yet. The theme, I guess, of the season is that, like, we've been making plays, but we've been inconsistent, with that. And so
Yeah.
that's why I'd give them that grade.
Yeah. So we got Kamante Jordan. What's going on? Says Coach Kelly doesn't call many blitz plays either, though. Like we talked about this. You asked me what I thought about Coach Kelly. I felt like his level of coaching didn't match the level of the OC Sean Lewis. I feel like Sean is way better at his job than Coach Kelly is, and I know Coach Kelly has the experience from Florida State and all that stuff, and I think even a stint at Alabama. I just not very high on him, but we'll see how it goes, later on. Let's move on back to the linebackers. The linebackers, man, give me that one linebacker that you guys cannot do without.
Oh, man. Well, I don't know why he didn't play yesterday. I don't know if it was an injury or something like that, but he's been so solid for us since, coming in just a couple weeks or so before the season started. That is a transfer from Texas, Tennessee, and Arizona State, Jawan Mitchell.
That's my guy. I like him.
He has been, so helpful for us and probably our most sure and solid open field tackler as well. That's something that we've been a little inconsistent with as well, but he has really helped bring some stabilization to this defense. Since him coming in, and I feel like, in my opinion, like he's only gotten better as he's gotten more comfortable. Again, it really speaks to, his work ethic, to get in here and be that starter immediately for us. And I think we're going to see him do great things as time goes on, but he by far has been our standout linebacker. That is for sure.
Oh, Benny Parker getting in, say the linemen are on the bench as well. Looks like this is a theme that the better D linemen are on the bench. Again, fellas, I'm not arguing with you. I believe you. I'm just saying there has to be something at practice that's going on while they're not putting these guys in. I don't know if maybe they don't show enough, just like Kamani. I mean, let's take Kamani McLean because we're going to move back to the DBs, man. Kamani McLean got in first game against USC and immediately started making plays, but he hadn't played until, and I know it was an injury to Travis Hunter that kind of gave way to that, but that week Prime was like, hey man, dude ain't coming to meetings or he coming late, so little stuff like that could be holding some of these guys back from starting, whereas this could give you an edge, because 4-2 bowl eligibility on the horizon. I'm saying it right now. You definitely taking down Stanford. And listen, all these other games, it's starting to look like these other teams are beatable as well. So, you got to move back there. I'm going to say this about the defensive backfield, man. Travis Hunter, once he's 100%, you got Travis Hunter, you got Shiloh. Did Shiloh play last night? Because like I said, I didn't get to see the game. Okay,
second leading tackler.
Good. Shiloh is the leader. I know Travis Hunter is the talent, but Shiloh is the leader of that secondary with Shiloh, Woods, Hunter, and I mean, honestly, I prefer to have Kamani on the other side, but I know we got the other guy. I want to say his last name is Cooper, maybe. But
Omarion Cooper, another Florida State transfer. Yes.
Yeah. So the secondary is a no-fly zone, but you got to pair the secondary with a good front seven.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They can only cover for so long. So, that's a lot to ask. So go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to give my grade. If that's
okay. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and get it.
I think again right now I don't think I can give any position group on the defense an A right now. I just can't. But I will give them a solid B right now. Again, we have a ton of takeaways. I think we generated 7 or 8 takeaways so far this year. And again, when you need to stick with receiver sometimes for 7-8 seconds, that's, you just can't ask that, over a long period of time. I think overall they've done well with the injuries. Cormani's getting up to speed. I think he played very well in yesterday's game. Got beat a couple times in the first quarter or so, maybe one other time. But overall, he played. I thought he played a good game. Roderick Ward, he's been starting at safety the last couple games with either Shiloh or in this time, Trevor Woods out. I'm not sure if Woods was out or just Ward replaced him, but transfer from Southern Utah. He was an all-conference guy at the FCS level, and he's added some more speed to this secondary. And you'll see more of him now that we'll be on normal TV. I think here moving forward, which will be great. But yeah, Carter Stoutmeyer, he's another guy, true freshman. Coming out here from the Dallas area, and he stepped up and done well. But this secondary is still developing. Again, they've shown great flashes. And again, right now with generating these turnovers, we are not 4-2 without them. They've been the reason that we've kind of described this defense as like a bend but don't break for the most part. And once Travis is back, that's going to be a huge help, because you're right. After our bye week, after Stanford, I feel like every game is winnable, but we can't play how we've played against some of these other teams so far on the schedule and expect to win. The level of competition is increasing.
Yeah, Eric D28 gets in. What's going on, Eric? Appreciate you getting in, man. He says, does Shiloh have a COVID year? He does. He was a freshman in 2019, but he only played less than 4 games, which didn't count. So technically his first year was 2020. This would be his 3rd year. So 5th, red shirt, he would be a red shirt senior, so to say, but he does have a COVID year if he chooses to use it. We got Robert Duncan says, what's going on, Robert? Appreciate you getting in. Says, you think some design runs for 2 when these teams are blitzing just to keep them honest, forget progressions, just go. We'll come right back to that. We'll flip over to the offense in a minute, Robert. That's a good point, though. He says, Optimist say, yes, Shiloh does have another year. That's right, man. Like I say, if there's the strength of the defense, to me, is the defensive backfield. I mean, it seems like you guys got more depth there than you have everywhere else. Go ahead.
I wanted to give a shout out really quick. How could I forget this? Our leading interceptor, I guess, Cameron Silman Craig, transfer safety over from Jackson State. He has been playing mainly the star position for us and doing a phenomenal job. Leads, again, our team with 3 picks, and he's picked off, Caleb Williams. He picked off I can't even remember. But anyways, he picked off Caleb Williams, so that's great.
That is good. How it has to be says Bentley led yesterday with 11 tackles, 1 sack, and a PBU.
Yep.
That's Avonta Bentley, transfer from Clemson. I got to see a lot of him down here in the South. That guy's listen, man, a lot of these transfers are just needing the opportunity to shine, and Prime has done that for them to give them that chance, man. So that kind of wraps up the defense, man. Y'all get in the comments, give us y'all grades on the defense overall. I think some people got in early, said C. Is there anybody out there that Bo Nix, Sunshine said Bo Nix is who he picked off, the guy you was talking about. That's who he picked off as well.
That was Demoy Kennedy. I'm sorry, not to get into technicalities.
Okay, got you. But if y'all got something other than a C for the defense, let us know. Again, we put the I think David put the link in the chat, and I put the link in the chat as well. If you want to get in, you can hit the link, turn your camera off once you're in, and then you can shoot a shot and talk to David, me, or ask overall. Said Optimistic says overall grade for the defense C-. I'm right there with you, Optimistic. I think they can be better, and I think they will be better. Again, like you said, these games down the line are winnable, and it's not just a bowl eligibility. I mean, it could be 8 wins. Who knows? It could be. I mean, honestly, you played USC to the buzzer, so the sky's the limit. To be honest with you, man.
Hey, this is a slight digression, but there has to be some sort of record tracked for like going undefeated and winning every week, but still sliding in the rankings every week. I mean, I think USC has done that like 3 or 4 weeks in a row now, man. I feel like I've never seen that.
Well, they came in with a lot of hype and listen, their offense is all of that, but not for nothing. Again, you guys had a chance to win, that game. They last night, I don't know if you watched it, but Arizona had a chance to win. I don't know what this 2-point conversion in a triple overtime toss to the left. They've been tossing it to the right all night, and they go toss to the left.
I know.
I'm like, they should have just went for 2 in the first overtime when they got the ball second. They's on the road. Go ahead and take them off. Peter Investor, shout out to Peter for getting in. He says the defense problems are need to stop the running plays and the crossing routes.
Yes.
Crossing routes can be a bit of a problem, especially when you're playing man, because it's hard to track somebody, all the way across the field, especially if your D line isn't getting to the quarterback, fast enough. Again, the other team has some talent too, you know what I'm saying? So, but I'll definitely with you on that one, Peter. So, but let's flip it over to the offense, man. Overall, I'm gonna say the offense has been an A. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna say an A plus, but it's been an A. I still need to see a little bit from a couple of some of the aspects of the offense, but I'm gonna give the offense an A. What you giving the offense, David? We'll break down each level of the offense as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna give them an A as well. I think we'll get to why that can't be an A plus, but this has been an offense that has scored. I mean, they must be averaging, in the low 40s, high 30s right now with points per game. And when you're scoring at that sort of rate, you can't be upset. You can't be too upset, when you're scoring at that rate. Like, you should win the majority of your games with an offense that produces at that level. Again, has everything been perfect on this? No, but man, this has been the best offense that I have watched as a Colorado sports fan in my entire life. So, I'm not too upset.
Yeah, that's right. KP getting in. Shout out to KP. Says we are Karate Kid. We're waxing on and off right now. Every team does not know yet, know why. Trying to catch mosquitoes with chopsticks, and we are learning. We are coming, Cobra Kai. I like that. That's one of the best ones of the night. Optimistic says he's in Charlotte. I'm in the upstate of South Carolina. Optimistic. Hey, man, I'm up here. I'm a dog. I'm just a UGA dog, man, out here in Clemson country, dog. So it's listen, we trying to do what we do, man. But I do want to take a shout out, man, to the Colorado fans that have followed the channel, and they show up and show out every single week, man. Like, I don't care if y'all was playing the Sisters of the Poor. These people are out and about. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate that, man, because, to support the content creators, I appreciate that. And for those that follow me, man, David does videos pretty much every day. So y'all go check out David Talks Buffs, man. Say, get on the train and enjoy the ride, man. So definitely, man. So, I mean, like I say, offense is good, but at some point you got to make the stop to beat the big team. So QB, I think this is the easiest one. I think we got an A plus here. Shedeur, he's in the Heisman race. He's had pretty much an amazing game outside of the Oregon game, but not all of that was his fault. The only thing I would say, and this is not on Shedeur, but this is on the coaches, I would like to see some more design runs for Shedeur, because I don't think the other team is expecting that. I know that Shedeur likes to extend plays, and that's a sign of a good quarterback, but sometimes just get the first down. Deshaun Watson, when he played at Clemson, he was amazing at that. Like, he didn't run a lot, but when he did, he got that 10 yards and he got down on the ground. That's keep the drive alive. But other than that, man, A plus for Shedeur. Any comments on Shedeur?
Man, he's been everything that I've hoped for and more this year. He should be a Heisman finalist. That's how I feel about it. Like, I feel realistically, if this team can win 9-10 games, be ranked at the end of the year, like, he should be in that Heisman consideration, because what he has done, I mean, he's on pace right now. Of course, I've talked about it before, to break all of our single season school records. He's already setting single game records. He did that week 1, against TCU, and the poise, the leadership that he provides. He's so, he's so likable because he's truly him. Some people aren't a fan of the showboating and whatever, if you want to be part of the fun police, that's on you, man. That is absolutely on you. But man, he's got great character. He's a great leader. Everybody loves him on the team, and the way in which he plays, because, man, he hasn't gotten good protection for most of these games. And, for him to be the most hit quarterback in college football right now, and for him to will us to victory in so many of these games, I mean, really, the only victory that we've had that wasn't close was our Nebraska game, where, of course, he showed out. but his poise, his ability to elevate everybody around him, just like you see those great quarterbacks do. That's exactly what Shedeur does every week with this offense. And then for him to, again, man, he's not somebody that's been complaining. He doesn't, his body language isn't one that's sulking on the sideline after something goes wrong, anything like that. Like he's a true pro, and he handles himself, like the leader that he is. I hope he comes back next year. I think he could be the #1 pick if he comes back. And when it's all said and done, he's going to lead us in the record books at this rate, not only for single season school records, but everything career wise as well.
Yeah, optimistic getting in and said Shedeur got to get the B+ because sometimes he holds the ball a little bit longer, just run. I can't disagree with that. Optimistic, you're right. Like I said, he does like to make the play, and sometimes it's like it works sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes those sacks aren't on the offensive line because the play might call for a quick read, and he likes to extend the play a little bit. Tremaine Young getting in says Shedeur B+ as well. Hey man, listen, that's what I'm talking about. Colorado fans coming with it, man. They say, listen, to be elite, you got to be elite. And sometimes you're holding the ball too long, Shedeur. They love you, but you're holding the ball just a tad bit long. I'm pretty sure Prime has said that to him once or twice.
And again, like we've talked about this before, it's kind of, will you take those plays where you're holding on to the ball and taking a sack every now and then? If, the other times where that's happening, you're making big plays downfield, it's kind of like there's some give and take with that. But when you look at the statistics, man, completing, I think over 70% of his passes, he has, if you include his 3 rushing touchdowns, he has 19 total touchdowns to 2 interceptions. So he takes care of the ball. And like he's been a true pro, and it's a joy and a privilege to watch a player like him play here at CU for sure.
That's
not
right,
going to
man.
take that for granted.
That's right, man. Listen, behind Shedeur is those running backs, man. To be honest with you, I personally thought this was going to be a strength of the team coming in. I didn't know a lot about the offensive line and the makeup of it, but I knew a lot about Alton McCaskill, Cavassier Smoke. I thought those were going to be the guys. How it has to be got in earlier and said Alton should be better than Marshawn Lloyd, which we talked about earlier. He just doesn't get the chance except for in garbage time. That's what I was going to ask you. You're more in tap with the team. Now, Alton is only listed as being available for 2 games, the last 2 games. But Cavassier Smoke was listed, according to the Colorado football website, as available for all 6 games. But he only has like 6 carries. Is there something we don't know? Is he hurt? Is he not? I mean, what's going on? Because in the SEC, he was a pretty formidable back.
Yeah. I don't know anything. So your guess is as good as mine as to why we haven't seen him get more. I think we saw him on for at least a few snaps within a drive yesterday, but with minimal impact. But he's been a starter for us on special teams. Special teams, I'm sure we'll talk about that great later. But this running back room was a room that I was very excited about coming into the preseason. I expected. Again, I thought McCaskill would be back a little bit sooner. He just took off his non-contact practice jersey just a couple weeks ago. So I think the reason we really haven't seen him, again, coming off that ACL injury, is just him getting comfortable, still getting up the speed. But man, when we start going against Oregon State, Utah, some of these tougher opponents, like, he would be a big benefit, having back there. But we've had other guys that have shined and had their moment. Anthony Hankerson, one of the 10 holdover scholarship players. He's basically turned into our starting running back right now. He's been phenomenal over the last couple weeks. And again, averaging 5.6 yards a carry this past week. He was great. Dylan Edwards has been a big threat out of the receiving game. And so like that kind of 1-2 punch has been helpful. I would like to see more running backs used because, again, this is kind of like a criticism right now of our offense, is that I think we have the ability to run the football better. And again, we showed it in spurts. Like, we run the football really well yesterday, but we get away from it at times. It doesn't benefit the offensive line. It doesn't benefit the offense. And, overall, it hurts our ability to protect Shedeur, which right now is my biggest concern halfway through. I don't know if he can sustain, this amount of hits through the end of the year. Something has to change. But overall, I've been pleased with the running backs. I'll give them a B, mainly just because I don't feel like we've seen them, get their full shot of seeing what all this group is capable of right now.
I definitely agree, man. And Dylan Edwards is actually leading the charge yardage wise, 230 on the ground, and Hankerson is right there behind him. Kamani Jordan gets in. Appreciate you getting in, Kamani. He says we need some wildcat plays on the offense for playmakers as well. I definitely think that could be creative. You got to do it in the right way, because sometimes in the wildcat, if you like, they definitely need to stretch Shedeur out to wide receiver when they do that, and not keep him in and hike it directly to the running back, because if he's back in the backfield, he's a blocker, and you definitely don't want Shedeur blocking, because you don't want to lose that cat. But you can do it in other ways, like you can motion him out and motion somebody, shift him out, motion somebody across, let a tight end be the blocker or something like that, and maybe that's a way to get him going. But I think you guys got some good running backs, but that's another way to keep Shedeur from holding the ball a long time. Have a good running game, so that when he does drop back, that their play action works a little bit better in that. So I think you guys got some guys. I think the next group of guys that we're going to talk about might be the reason why they don't get a lot of yardage, and that is the O-line. So listen, man, when I did the TCU Colorado video, I said Colorado was going to cover the spread. I was definitely impressed with Colorado. I did say TCU was going to win, because again, we hadn't seen Colorado, but I definitely knew 21 wasn't happening for TCU. But I made a statement that the old line was small, and people, like some of the Colorado fans, came at me, and I said the tackles are extra large humans, you know what I'm saying? 6'7", 6'8", whatever. But that interior, that center, the two guards, those guys are a little undersized when you're talking about, being a physical running team at some point in time. So give me your grade, man. Don't hold back. Tell us what you think of that old line, man.
Yeah, I think right now you got to give them a D right now, man. Which is hard, but hey, when your quarterback is the most hit quarterback in college football, there needs to be some accountability. Again, they've shown their moments, like the second half against USC. Like, it really made me think, hoping that this past week that we would see this offensive line finally have turned the corner. But again, that consistency has just not been there. The interior O-line, it's been interesting because, Jack Wiltie was a guy who started at right guard in place of Landon Beebe, who has started since against TCU. I thought he played a good game against TCU, but we haven't seen him. Our two smallest linemen right now are at, right guard, like 310 pounds. Somewhere in between there. And then our left guard is listed as like 285 or something. We have bigger guys on the in the line group. Some of them, they're transfers. They're coming over here from JUCO or whatnot. Big, strong, physical guys is the technique there. Is are they ready? To make sure that they're making the right adjustments and like coverages in terms of who they have. I don't know, but with how we have not seen Coach Prime be critical the way that he was about the offensive line last night. And I think at this point, it's kind of reached a breaking point where we've gone through with the majority of this line outside of injury without any, without any substitutions. And I think, maybe with Stanford, I don't know, on a short week, but I would like to see some different combinations, or at least things tried with the offensive line, after the bye week. But the other thing too is, like, I don't think it's a coincidence. When our offensive line's been better protecting Shedeur, we've also been emphasizing the run game. 45 rushes to 45 passes against USC. And when you're able to run the ball or run some different option or RPO with Shedeur, that can keep the pressure off of him. But like, the consistency has just not been there from the O-line. And it's the reason, one of the reasons why this team, I think sometimes you'll just see them sputter out on offense for a quarter or two. It's just Shedeur sometimes just has no time. Some of those times he's holding the ball, it's on him. Other times, man, he's taking 2 steps back and there's already 3 guys in his face.
That's true, man. TB Gibson said we wasn't expecting Tyler Brown to be ineligible this year. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Tyler Brown was one of the 3 in college football that were ineligible because of the 2-time transfer. With the news of Tez Walker being eligible at North Carolina, who knows? Maybe second half of the season. I don't know if I don't know if Colorado put in an appeal because North Carolina actually put in an appeal. So who knows? Maybe some help is on the way. And to speak to getting more people reps, like you said, you mentioned that the only game you guys have really been up and out in front is the Nebraska game. To get the younger guys or the less technical or inexperienced guys reps, man, you got to get a lead so you can get those guys in there, because you don't want to put them in there when the game is on the line, if they got issues or stuff like that. Peter says O-line, which are the major issues, small size versus poor technique. Technique means a lot, man. Like you right about that, Peter. You could be small, but you got some good technique. You be good hand fighting. Great kick step in the pass protection because you guys pass the ball a lot. So Rich Beater, what's going on, Rich Beater? Appreciate you getting in. He says, if CU doesn't change their offensive scheme, Shedeur won't last the season without injury. Believe me, defenses are looking to take him out like Travis Hunter. Hey, man, I can't disagree with that, man. He does, like you say, I think, and this goes to what David said, he's the most hit quarterback in Power 5 or maybe Division 1. And Dub Money says, listen, man, bro, the offensive line gets an F. Dub say straight out, they get an F, man. You can't have Shedeur at quarterback and he the most sacked quarterback in college football. Big F. Listen, the good thing is you're 4-2 after giving your O-line an F. Right. How about that? So if they play better, it's only up from here. You know what I'm saying? Kamani says we need to run a 2-back set with Dillon and Hankerson. I like 2-back sets because that keeps the defense off balance. Says which will open up Dillon up on the screenplay, play action run Hankerson. I like all of that. And I'll be honest with you, Sean Lewis did a lot of that at Kent State. Again, I told y'all I'm a UGA guy, and listen, we got a full effect of Sean Lewis offense last year. Kent State rolled into Athens. He pulled out everything in the playbook and all this stuff y'all asking for. He was doing. I'm actually surprised that he, up until the USC game, he hadn't really forced the issue on running. Like I felt like in the USC game, he actually, regardless of how many yards you guys were getting, he stayed true and he tried to run the ball, which kept their safeties from backing up and that open passing lanes for Shedeur. So you got to do that. Shout out to Tremaine, man. Tremaine says, David, he loves your show. Just to understand why we don't run more trick plays. Why do we not roll Shedeur out and bootleg him? Why don't we shift formations like other teams do to create mismatches? All good points. I do know Prime did say he tries as much as he can not to get Shedeur hit. So I don't know if that lends itself to why he doesn't roll out more or bootleg or anything like that. Sometimes that's kind of on Shedeur. I think that's what some of the people were saying earlier. Sometimes he does roll out, but he just won't run the ball. I don't know. Sean Lewis used a lot of that stuff at Kent State. So I think he's kind of ramping up. Maybe he's saving some of that for the second half of the season.
Yeah, that was been something that I've been kind of wondering, like, where is all this like pre-snap motion, that we saw so often at Kent State, and we've seen some of it over the last couple of weeks, more than we saw the first 4 weeks of the season or so. And my guess is maybe this is something that they're trying to implement over time. I think it was a nice adjustment the last couple of weeks. Like we have incorporated Shedeur into a little bit more of the run game, designed runs. Again, though, when we get away from the run, that's where things get difficult, whether it's to the running back or with Shedeur, because then these defensive linemen, they don't have to think at all, man. They can just go right after him. And that's when Shedeur is taking the real dangerous hits, in my mind, in the pocket or, trying to, scramble around some guys. Overall, except for trucking that dude in the second half of the game yesterday, he usually does a pretty good job of avoiding contact when he's running or rolling out. So, Tremaine, again, thank you so much for your super chat. Love you too, man. But why aren't we running more trick plays? I don't know. I want to see more pre-snap motion continue to be implemented into the offense, because we saw an extreme example of that. I don't know how much you caught. If you caught any highlights of this, Coach I, but Kenny Dillingham, man, he was running out like a ton of different motion and just pre-snap movement. And, it got our defense in bad positions where there were busted coverages. There weren't guys lined up. It's like doing those little things to make the defense think and make their life just a little bit more hard and like get annoyed, man. Like that offense was so annoying to watch because it was giving me anxiety on every play, But hats off to Kenny Dillingham. He's a great young coach, that's for sure. But I think the more we integrate motion into this offense, I think it's going to protect Shedeur more.
Yeah, to the trick plays, it depends on what trick plays, Tremaine. If you're running any kind of like things like a double reverse pass, anything like that on offense, it might be because your offensive line can't hold up and they'll be in the backfield. That could be a reason. If you run anything like a wide receiver screen and into a pass, then that means that another wide receiver would have to be on that side blocking as somebody go out. Again, I think you guys got a lot of elite pass catchers. I don't know how good they are at blocking. As far as the pre-snap motion, you guys play at Arizona State, right? Yeah. I can't speak for the rest of the games, but most time coaches aren't going to do a lot of pre-snap motion on the road because of crowd noise, because they don't want a lot of procedural penalties. But I will say, but at home, I ain't got no excuse for it at home. At home, you should definitely be doing some pre-snap motion because for one, that'll help Shedeur. I mean, he's great at reading defenses anyway, but that'll help him know if it's in zone or man. Plus, even if the defense think they had the play figured out, if you go pre-snap motion right before the snap, a DB who might have had this wide receiver, now when that wide receiver goes in motion, he doesn't know that he has a tight end, and that can open some things up. So good points by Tremaine, man, coming in. So let's see who else we got before we move on, man. Let's see. TB said, I feel like the OC and the DC ain't hungry as prime. They are used to make their positions. That's a interesting take. Listen, Prime's a winner, been a winner all his life. It's different levels, and it may take some time to get Sean Lewis and Charles Kelly. But Charles Kelly did win a natty. He's a part of the natty squad at Florida State, so he knows what winning is. Now, that's not to say he's hungry. You might be right. That's not to say he's hungry, but Tremaine said offensive line is a D-. Bro, y'all hardcore on the O-line, boy. That's better than the F that somebody gave him early. TV said we need dolls as our old state.
Can I say something about the coordinators, man? I think this is kind of
shout out to my guy Mike Wilkinson, man, getting there. Go ahead, David.
It's just it's very rarely, man, you ever find a fan base that is ever just happy with any job that a coordinator is doing, right? There's always room for criticism. Again, has Sean Lewis been perfect? Absolutely not. But again, he's done a lot of great things on this offense. And again, I don't think we're 4-2 kind of without this sort of combination. I think it will get better. Both of these coaches are learning their personnel, understanding what their strengths and weaknesses are. I feel like you've been experiencing that with, Georgia's new OC, with them kind of figuring out how this whole thing works. It can just take, longer time than people anticipate. But I think, Sean Lewis, from looking back at his time at Kent State in 21 and 22, I mean, he ran pretty substantially different offenses based on the personnel that he had. I think he does a pretty good job at, crafting his scheme to the type of talent that he has. When I look at, what he was doing with Colin Schlee in 2022, and then I'm forgetting their 21 quarterback, but more of a pocket passer guy compared to Schlee, who ran a lot. And don't necessarily know if that's like the case for Charles Kelly. Again, I think with what we're running, it makes a lot of sense. Like if we just got some dogs up front, some Georgia Bulldog type guys, that are going after the passer, I think our defensive scheme looks a lot better. But I don't know if we necessarily have the talent right now on both ends of the ball to completely scheme around our lines being the weakest spots of our team right now.
I got you, man. Now, another position group I personally think should have at least an A-, if not anything else, is the wide receiver / the pass catchers. That is, man. You guys have some amazing pass catchers. Of course, Travis Hunter was a part of that before he got injured, but his injury opened a spot for Amaria. I want to say it's Amaria Miller. Is that his
Yep.
name? Or Amaria Miller? Like that guy came in ready, like right now. Like what you like? It's almost like somebody's been holding the back of his jersey and then just let him go, and he just came out there. He was ready to go. So like this group is one of the better groups. I would say in the Pac-12, if not the nation. What's your grade on the wide receivers / tight ends?
Yeah, man, I'm giving them an A, man. They've been fantastic in every game. Like you said, we've had different guys stepping up and always stepping up in the clutch. There's not. I mean, I know that we've had like a few drops throughout the season, like every team does, but none of these drops have been like back-breaking drops. The only things that I really remember are the touchdowns that we're scoring, the big catches that we're making on 3rd and long, and all that. Wide receiver and the secondary. These are probably our deepest positions that we have right now. And I mean, they've been showing out again. Why I feel like a lot of people were sleeping on this team, and why a lot of these algorithms, man, didn't really understand. The guys that were coming in, it's like if you turn on the tape, Xavier Weaver and Jimmy Horn were dynamic players at USF, but they just didn't have the quarterback play, so their numbers weren't that great. But you can see, man, what they can do when they got a quarterback like Shedeur slinging the ball to them. I mean, they've been incredibly dynamic. Omari Miller's had his moments. Travis Hunter has been, just fantastic. Can't wait till he's back and see him score his first touchdown here at CU. That would be great. And then it'd be terrible of me not to mention our walk-on starting tight end, Michael Harrison. He was a walk-on tight end the last couple of years here at CU. Well, walk-on wide receiver, didn't play at all on those terrible teams. Shows you the work ethic and him taking Tim Brewster, the tight end coach, his coaching, because he is tied for 2nd on the team right now with for touchdowns with 4, I believe. He has been a dynamic tight end for us in the passing game, sort of who we were expecting Zico Traore to be before he transferred out after transferring in after the spring game. So, overall, I'm very happy with the pass catchers. It's been a great combo with him and Shedeur. And I mean, we got another, fun class coming in here at the receiver position. And I think it will be eventually kind of like that Ohio State type of pipeline here when it comes to the receivers. That's my hope.
I got you. Tremaine says the wide receivers get a B+, but Weaver gets an A+. Weaver has definitely been the standout in that group because, like I say, when you're not in the Colorado area or in that fan base, all offseason we heard about Jimmy Horn Jr. And again, I feel like Jimmy Horn Jr. has played good, but Weaver has definitely, taken the reins on that number 1 wide receiver spot. But the B+, Tremaine, tell me why B+ and not at least an A or I mean an A-, man. Yeah. I feel like they should have an A, dog. I feel like like you said, they've had a couple of drops, but nothing major. These guys, I feel like but hey, your grade is what your grade is. Kagan Park University, appreciate you getting in. Says, do you think Kamani McLean should get another shot? It all depends on what he's doing, Monday through Friday. I'm not there, and I don't know if he's showing up late to meetings still, but if he's coming to everything and he's practicing, I definitely do. I think the dude could be a lockdown corner if you got him on one side and Travis Hunter on the other.
Man, you saw him locking down Brendan Rice, once he got into the game against USC. And again, he had a couple passes completed against him this past week, but overall, I mean, he's flashed. He's and even seeing him on special teams early in their year, making some important tackles for us. He's going to continue to grow, and I would assume he starts for us again this week.
Yeah, like my guy Shawty gets in and say Shedeur would be much more dangerous in the pistol type offense instead of the run, shoot, spread. And maybe some of that has to do with the line. They knew, that what the line was in the offseason. They had a whole offseason, with that. Peter says use 2 tight end formations, some 12 personnel. Okay. We'll open up the run. Now I know about the walk-on tight end that has come on in the passing game. If you got a second tight end, now running 12 personnel, you definitely want to have at least 3 so you can rotate them guys out. You know what I'm saying? Robert says, Travis opens up all receivers because they're doubling. That's true.
Yep.
When Hunter's out there, they are doubling him. No coincidence that we was going for 200 plus with Travis. Hey man, Weaver's balling out, man. So shout out to Weaver, man. Optimistic said Cormani better not wear them earrings anymore. He did have earrings on the sideline, bro. Like you can't do that. If they was blocking, they would get an A, but the run game is nowhere to be found. I think, listen, man, you a little bit nicer in your comments than some of the other people on the O-line today. All right, man, with that said, man, like we talk about coaching overall. I think overall Prime as the head coach has to get an A for what he's accomplished so far. He's really literally built a team. He built a team. You know what I'm saying? And that's and not just a team to go out on the field, but a team to go out there and compete. You lost to two of the teams that's right now, if I'm not mistaken, the AP poll, they're either top 5 or top 10, Oregon and USC. So it's not like you lost to any slouches there, say. And then for me, so Coach Prime, I think Coach Prime at this point gets an A+. I think Sean Lewis, he started out where I would have gave him a really A+, but I think I'm kind of like, I want to say it was Tremaine Matter with the receivers, and I think Sean Lewis gets a B+. I think he needs to, even sometimes when you're not getting yards on the run, you cannot abandon the run. Nope. You gotta let them know that you're still gonna try to run it. And Charles Kelly, I'm gonna have to give him a C, man, because overall, listen, he had the same amount of time to get his guys ready as they had on the offense, and it's just not clicking right now. So I'm giving Coach Kelly a C. All right, go. You give me your grades on everybody.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Coach Prime, it has to be an A. Again, a lot of people, man, the fact, man, that we were 1-11, this past year, and man, there are a lot of people that hate what we're doing, man. I just think it's so funny. He's completely just resurrected this program. He's 101. We're so thankful to have him here, and CU has changed for forever. Because of Coach Prime. Like, that's how I feel about it. The exposure, the media attention, like the recruiting is beyond anything that I was expecting with him coming on in December. Nothing's perfect, but you were starting with nothing.
Yes.
To be where you're at right now at 4-2, you got to be feeling good about yourself. Exceeding most people's expectation for this team. So I'll give him an A+. I'll give Sean Lewis a B. Again, we're great, in certain spots. We're putting up great numbers, but Shedeur's been hit a ton, and we haven't been consistently committed to the run game. And that has been a big disservice to our offensive line specifically. It's like we need to turn on, the dog mentality in them, I feel like. And that happens when we're better about running the ball consistently. They play better. And running play action has been huge for Shedeur. He's been incredibly efficient and productive off of play action this year. But I mean, but the offensive line, we got to do more. We got to have some more mass protect sets. I don't care if you have only 3 wide receivers going out there, man. These wide receivers can get open if we can give Shedeur 7-8 seconds, like what we've given Caleb Williams or the Arizona State quarterback, man. Like when they had some time, it didn't matter that we were dropping 7-8 back, man. They were still completing passes. So I had this stat sent to me by QB Spotlight from Stephen Hamner, who all collaborate every now and then. He said this: Shedeur was only blitzed on 10% of his dropbacks last night, but was under pressure 40%. That is unacceptable. And we need desperately to make an adjustment to help keep Shedeur upright, because we always have a chance in all these games with 2. That is for sure. But we have a couple true freshmen, backup quarterbacks, and then a JUCO transfer who had more interceptions than touchdowns, if I remember correct. We are screwed if Shedeur ever goes down this year, and it's going to be important to keep him upright. Now, Charles Kelly, man, that's tough. I'm going to have to give him the same grade that I gave this defense, is just a D. C, D, I forget what I gave him. But whatever that grade was, look back, that's what it is. we're good in some areas, but then we're bad in others, and then it flips. The next game we
Not
just need
consistent. Not
consistency.
consistent. Yeah.
And I don't know if you had on here the grade for special teams, but right now, if I'm going to give that unit a grade, it's an absolute F. I've never seen a special teams unit this porous. Blocked field goals, blocked punts. We kicked the ball out of bounds twice yesterday. We had personal fouls on 2 returns. And
those kind of things give the other team such great starting field position. You can't beat yourself. You cannot put yourself in holes like that.
Yeah, no doubt. And it's been one of those things where I was very excited to see special teams because as a CU fan and a Broncos fan, we've had some terrible special teams units the last 10 years. And this might be the worst one, which is a huge thing. We've had our kickers make some important kicks in the moment. We finally got a nice punt return yesterday from Zay Weaver and a blocked field goal from Carter Stoutmeyer, true freshman. But for every good play we have on special teams, game-changing play in the positive, we've had 2 to 3 net negative plays on special teams, of that same effect. It's been absolutely dreadful. And it's something that needs to get corrected. It has made our lives so much harder for us getting wins that we should get. Special teams has not been a factor in helping us get those wins at all.
Yeah, Jiggity said special teams gets an F. Like not even no buts or no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Special teams getting an F. They definitely can't be kicking the ball out of bounds. That's bro, you just don't know how demoralizing that is to a defense to know that the offense has a short field and they have to protect it because you only need a couple of first downs and now you're in field goal range. So that's a lot of pressure to put on a defense that's already kind of, not consistent, like you guys have said, man. Hey, man, we here talking with David Talks Buff and the Colorado Nation, man. Just to let y'all know, if you're going to the game this Friday in Boulder or any other game, man, use this promo code at SeatGeek to get your tickets, man. Fanatic Sports promo code, $20 off your first purchase, man. That's right, $20 off your first purchase. Save a little coin, then you can buy you some dope beverages in the stadium or whatever you want to spend that $20 on, man. And we appreciate y'all coming out, man. It's been a good one. So let's see. Shawty said that's why Prime gets a C as a head coach because of lack of defense and special team. He made the hires. That's true. He did make the hires. I ain't giving Prime a C though. I'm gonna have like Prime overall though, Shawty. Overall, I feel like Prime has done a really good job. Sometimes you got to trust the guys that you hire to do the position. Now, if they continue to go down this road next season and he doesn't make a change, then I can say I'll hold Prime more responsible for that. So yeah. So man, but go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to say, to me, with both Charles Kelly and Sean Lewis, there's a little bit more grace and patience that I can have with them just because being average at the line or below average at the line is that's a really hard thing to coach around. And if we can get some other guys here in the cycle that can help improve those units, I think you'll see better games called from both of them, so to speak. But the one thing that I don't have much patience for is special teams. Again, we have the athletes to be just fine, even if it's a net neutral. To me, I've talked with my friend Rawhide Media about this all the time. To me, special teams is not an out athlete thing. That's what he always says.
No, it's an effort. It's an effort thing.
It's an effort thing. I wonder what the heck is going on with what is being coached with so many of the errors that we've had on this team. I literally do not understand it. I've been telling my audience all week, it makes me want to pick up cigarettes, Coach I. This is not okay.
Don't pick up the cancer sticks, dog.
No, we can't. Special teams, man. You guys want us to live a long life, right? Like, I cannot let this unit be my cause of death because I got to pick up the cigarettes to calm my nerves. This is not okay.
That's right, man. We're gonna finish off the show, man, talking about the rest of the schedule and what we think is gonna be, man. You got Stanford this Friday in Boulder, man. I think that is a win for you guys. You cannot drop this game, especially trying to get bowl eligible or better. Stanford is a must. Stanford is still figuring out if they still want to continue their football program. So you got to beat Stanford. It's 10 o'clock, man, Eastern time. So that's 8 o'clock Mountain time, so that's prime time, lights on. You got time to get off work, get you some adult beverages, get lathered up, get in the stadium. Again, use that code, man, Fanatic Sports, man, $20 off. If you ain't already got your tickets, get your tickets, man. How you feeling about the Stanford game?
Man, we freaking better win. I told I told my my viewers, man, last night and today, I am done predicting, calling that this is the week where this team finally turns the corner and we play a complete game. I'm done with it, man. So it's going to be close. It's going to be close, but we got 2, baby. And when we got 2, we're going to get that win, man, no matter how crazy it looks. But I'm done. I'm done predicting complete games for this team until I see it. But we got to take care of business on Saturday night with the home crowd. It's going to be
That's
awesome.
right. Listen, man, after that game Friday, man, you got the week off. Get people, time to rest, get a little healthy. You should have Travis Hunter back coming off of the off week, if I'm not mistaken, and they're going to need it going into the Rose Bowl to take on the Bruins. And believe it or not, Chip Kelly, of all people, the offensive guy, has a good defense out there at UCLA.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a toss-up. I mean, it's going to be hard to win on the road, though. And if you guys listen, they held Utah down, but Utah didn't have Cam Rising. They just beat a pretty good Oregon State team. So Washington State, that's what I meant, with Cam Ward at quarterback. And I felt like their offense was pretty good, too. So you guys are going to have to put up some points, man. How you feeling about UCLA?
So I'm going to stick with my preseason picks right now, Coach I'm 6 for 6 right now on the schedule. So I'm going with a win against Stanford. I'm going with a win on the road. I imagine we will be dogged in that game by Vegas. I would like to think, man, maybe if we just, signed a few, semi-professional players, man, that can block during the bye week, man. We make sure they're enrolled in some online classes. We get them out there, man. We get that win coming off the bye in Los Angeles, or Pasadena, rather.
That'll be a huge win, because if you beat Stanford, you beat UCLA, you're going bowling. Now, you're going bowling. So that'll be good. Landon Price getting in. Price appreciate you getting in. Landon says wanting to see some more of these QBs. So let's start off early. Yeah, that's the thing. If you want to see some of the backup players play, you got to get a lead early so that they can get them in. But like David mentioned earlier today, the only one you kind of did that in was the Nebraska game. And I don't even know if you pulled off from early, but you controlled the game for sure. After UCLA, you come back to Boulder to take on DJU and the Oregon State Beavers, man. So I think this is Pac-12 is a loaded conference. So you guys are like, beating up on each other every single week.
Yes, I am incredibly nervous about this game. Oregon State has given us trouble for so many years. Well, I guess like most of these Pac teams have, to be honest. But, this is our homecoming game. But this is one that I have us dropping right now. Even though DJU seems to have been a little bit inconsistent so far, that Oregon State defense is for real. That offensive line is, they run the ball. That's one of these games where I don't know how I feel about it, with their strengths kind of matching up directly with the areas that we're weak at. So I have us dropping that home game right now, sadly.
Yeah, and DJU has been inconsistent. They are strong running the ball, and they're strong defending the front seven, but their secondary does have holes that can be had. So hopefully the offensive line for the Buffs can keep Shedeur upright long enough to take advantage of it. You know what I'm saying? So then you come back and you play the other Arizona school in Boulder. I think this is one you can win. Now I'm not saying it's going to be easy, because Arizona played, USC tight. So I think they play Washington tight. So both of the two, prominent offenses, so to say, on top of Colorado, because Colorado's right there with them. But in the Pac-12, they kind of held them at bay, man. You know what I'm saying? Other than overtime, USC only had 28, and they held Washington to 31. I know in this day and age, 31 is not for Washington. That's not a lot of points. So,
yeah.
How you feeling about the Arizona Wildcats coming into Boulder?
Man, I'm feeling good about this matchup. They have they played very well. Like, they have a very dynamic running back. I'm forgetting his name, but he carved up USC.
Number 8. I don't know his name, but number 8 was balling.
Yeah, and with how their backup quarterback played yesterday, I wonder kind of what happens, moving forward. Will we see Delora when he's back, or will this guy? I forget his name again. He played really well, but with this being at home, I do feel better about this, and I think we can, and I think we will get the win against the Arizona Wildcats at home. So, yeah.
That'll be good. Now, I think this next 2-game stretch is just going to be just as hard as the USC-Oregon stretch, because both games are on the road against formidable opponents. Washington State doesn't lose at home a lot. And by this time, at the end of the season, I'm expecting Cam Rising to be healthy and playing for the Utah Utes, who has a very physical trench work, whether it be O-line or D-line. So I think you can take the Stanford, the UCLA. If you play good, you can get the win there. I think Oregon State's going to be a challenge. Arizona can be a winnable game. I think those games need to be handled that way. You have pressure. I think you're playing with house money anyway, dog. You only won one game last
totally
year.
Are.
You know what I'm saying? Once you're bowl eligible, you play with house money. So, but how you feeling about that ending that schedule, man, at Washington State and at Utah?
Yeah, I got to say, man, Washington State has really exceeded my expectations for them this year. I have us winning this game on the road, but I do not feel good about it right now. I got to be honest, with how we have played. If this season kind of goes how I project, hopefully we've gained some momentum and cleaned some things up to go in there and get the win. But I guess I'll just boil it down to this. Cam Ward's great, but Shedeur Sanders is better. And, that's what gets us the win in, wherever Washington State University is. Ask Pat McAfee. I forget where they're at. Right. And then regarding Utah, this is one that I feel a little bit better about on the flip side. I really don't think Cam Rising's coming back this year. This is just all speculation, but I kind of wonder, it would be totally funny and interesting if he just takes this medical red shirt with how serious this knee tear was. Yeah, it comes back next year as like a 28-year-old quarterback and just does it. Again, because Utah is they are definitely vulnerable, as we have seen without him. I don't think they got right now anybody at quarterback that can come in there and be the playmaker that they need at that position. So I'm again, I'll still stick with my preseason picks. I got this one as a loss, but you could probably flip. I feel a little bit better about Utah than I do Wazoo, but I have us beating Wazoo and losing to Utah. But so overall, that's an 8-4 record. But at the end of the day, Coach, I made these picks with, hoping that we would see improvement in more consistent football down the line throughout the year. There isn't any of these games where I feel like going into Oregon or USC, where it's like we are clearly, they got a ton more talent than we do. We need to play perfect in order to have a shot. We have to play better. There is no doubt. And if we continue to play how we have been with the mistakes and the special teams and the penalties, different things like that, we're not winning these games. But if we can improve in consistency, we should be in every single one of these games. And I've said, man, if we don't win these games, it's because we're just playing sloppy football. That's how I feel. So my hope is that we run the table, get ourselves to a New Year's Six bowl. That's my hope. But I'm done predicting right now that this team is going to turn that corner. I need to see it. I need to see it first. Am I doubting Thomas? I don't know. Jesus still showed up and said, dude, touch the holes in my hands. Like, I don't mind showing you. I need to see I need to see this team play consistent before I'm going to start to predict that out, I guess, you know.
That's right. Adam Hurley, shout out for Adam getting has been commenting, man. It says, just want to see y'all steal one of these wins from one of these good teams, and he'll be happy. I'm going to tell you, if Cam Rising doesn't play, I feel like Utah is the one that you could steal, even though it's at Utah. And trust me, they don't lose at Rice Eccles a lot. But the good thing is you guys are, a lot of times the reason why they don't is because of the high altitude. You guys are used to it because you're in Colorado, so you got the high altitude. And the thing is, if Shedeur and that offense can put up 21, it's pretty much going to be a win because Utah can't manage points. I like Utah. They got great trenches, defensive line, offensive line. They play really physical, but they cannot score with those quarterbacks that they have right now. So if you guys can put up 21, it might be a win in Rice Eccles. Like I said, not a lot of people do. Or, you know, get that Oregon State at home. Like I said, I think their secondary, you know, leaves something to be desired out there on that football field, and maybe you can take advantage of that. The crowd's got to be in, get loud, get some false starts and things in that nature to put them behind the sticks. You know, the crowd plays a lot, and in having upsets, home field matters. So you got to show up. And if you're going to show up, use the Fan Addict Sports promo code at SeatGeek to get $20 off your first purchase if you don't have a ticket. Come on, people, save $20. I'm trying to save you some money. Hey, and then the link will be in the description too, man. Hey, look, David, man, I had a lot of fun. Always good talking to you, man, about college football, especially the Buffs. Appreciate you coming in, man. All the Colorado fans, man, we appreciate y'all stopping by. It's been a good time tonight, man. Me and Dave are gonna have to do this again later on in the season to get to after you win one of those, you know, big time games, and then get everybody's feeling in, man. Dave, you want to say any parting words to the people before we get out of here?
Man, thanks for checking this out, everybody. If anybody's watching from my channel, go make sure you subscribe to Fan Addict Sports. Link to Coach I's channel is in the description. But man, you know, this has just been a wonderful season so far. We're just having a lot of fun, you know. No fun police allowed, you know, in Buffs Nation, man. We're just all about having fun and burying the haters on Twitter, and you know, just having fun doing it, man. With every victory, man, we have not won many games throughout the year. This team, you know, has embodied how this whole fan base feels, and they are living and thriving in the moment. And you know, it's just a beautiful thing, man. I love it. I'm having the most fun I've ever had as a sports fan, and we're coming. We are coming, and hopefully we get a nice little bowl game against like Notre Dame, like an Orange Bowl, you know, rematch. Whether that's in the Orange Bowl or not, I don't care. But you know, Notre Dame's dropped a couple, you know, so that would be kind of cool. You know, 1989, 1990. You know,
that'd be dope. I grew up on Notre Dame, Colorado. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so that's my hope, Coach I.
That's it, man. We appreciate y'all for joining us, man. Y'all, if y'all from my channel, go check out David Talks Buffs on YouTube, Twitter, wherever you want to go, man. It's David Talks Buffs. Y'all check him out. He got some good content. If you're on David's show, come check out the Fan Addict Sports, man. We go live twice a week, Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern time, and Saturday night on the Snap Count, where we review all college football, man, on 10 p.m. Eastern time. We try to give y'all West Coast people a lot of time to watch the game, but sometimes we're reviewing the day's games and watching the West Coast Pac-12 after dark. That's how we do it, man. But we appreciate all of y'all, man. For David Talks Buffs, this is Coach I, Fan Addict Sports Network. We out of here.